Hello, friends, both old and new. I am John St. Baptiste, and this is Music Makes People Come Together, where we share amazing and eclectic music with amazing and eclectic people, much like yourselves. Today, we are doing another episode of History of Music, and I am pretty excited about it. This is a series that, at least for this first volume, I'm talking about how one artist at a certain point in time has influenced other artists at a certain point in time. And today, I hope to explain to you how Low Country and German Baroque, along with French, basically created power metal. Now, this really isn't too much of a convoluted story. The big thing that is in common with both is scales and arpeggios, which are basic training things that you use chorally or instrumentally when you're learning music, but also can be written into the music and used at a higher and more nuanced and advanced level. Now, scales and arpeggios have existed since the beginning of music theory. We're talking back with the Greeks, but they didn't really, it was more of an instrumental or vocal exercise. And really, after the Renaissance era, into the Baroque era, started to manifest itself as a compositional tool. And now you know what a scale is. Most of you are probably familiar with the heptascale, the heptatic scale, which you learned in music class when you were a kid. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. 7 notes, heptatic. But there are many other types of scales. They might skip those notes. They might work around them, but regardless, you go from point A to point B and it's a scale. Also, you have arpeggios. Now, what an arpeggio is where you take and play a chord, but you only play it one note at a time. So, as opposed to, I don't have a piano handy, but as opposed to playing like an E chord, ding, you would play ding, 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 ding. It still plays the note, but it plays the different notes in the chord at different times. Now, the Baroque composers really, really got into this. And much later, in the 1970s, a lot of progressive rock artists really got into all this stuff. Now, I'm not going to go huge into music theory about majors and minors and didactic and chromatic. This stuff gets me hot and bothered, but I'm sure it bores the average person, and I pretty much just want to share some great music with you guys and not bore you, because I don't think I'd make a very good music theory teacher. But a lot of prog rock back in the 1970s had significant influence from Baroque, classical, and Romantic era music. And one of the genres that stemmed from that was power metal, which combined a lot of the orchestration of a lot of progressive rock with the pounding sound of heavy metal, with your early heavy metal artists, coming in and introducing essentially the format. More than anything, I'd say Black Sabbath and Deep Purple. Arguably Led Zeppelin, even though I personally consider Led Zeppelin a blues band. Aerosmith, even though I also consider Aerosmith a blues band. But, really brought this in, and then you have bands like Diamond Head, Manowar, and then later on Halloween. And basically this evolved into what is called power metal, which is extremely structured, extremely mathematically and musically structured, but it's also metal. And very relatively popular modern example of band that plays power metal is Dragon Force, which I absolutely love. Amazing just because of the level of quality of the musicians, let alone the fact that it's just great music to listen to. But if you ever get the opportunity, if they're touring anywhere near you, please go to one of their shows. It is great. Plus, you will see the biggest mishmash of people you have ever seen at a concert. It like spans the entire spectrum uh, of of music fans. It's pretty cool. But so the track that I chose from them, which is going to be the second track here, is "Heroes of Our Time," which is off their album Ultra Beatdown. Really sweet track. Plus, you get to see Herman and Sam play guitar, which is just freaking awesome. And a lot of people watch their videos and they're like, "Oh, well, they aren't really playing because you don't see any chords coming out of there." Actually, if you look, you do see chords coming out. They use radio centric. Oh, heavens! I can't forget what it's called. I can't remember what it's called. But where it broadcasts, basically, it's cordless attachment to the amplifier. They actually do play their videos live. So all the shredding that you're about to see is real. And it's pretty freaking awesome. But going back to where the roots of this type of sound and structure come from, I have chosen Chaconne by Bach. This is done on the violin, which is what it was originally written for. I love hearing it on harpsichord, but I wanted to include the original format in which it was meant. But I just love anything involving harpsichord, so I'm significantly biased. But this is from Partita Number 2 in D minor. And Bella Hystrova is the violinist. She's absolutely amazing. So please just take the time, listen to the two pieces, see if you can find this similarity, comparison, and evolution, for lack of a better term, that I am talking about. If you have any feedback, if you have any thoughts about that, or about these tracks, or about this video, please leave them in the comment section down below. Speaking of which, while you're down there, if you enjoyed this, hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. And if you enjoy music or literature, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when new stuff is up. Tomorrow we'll be doing Believe. We're talking the television series American Gods right now. And right now we will be on the third episode of the first season, discussing that. We do that every Wednesday. We discuss a work currently, at least by Neil Gaiman. We might move into another author, but there's a whole lot to work with right here. So I'm going to let you go ahead and check the music out, which is in the description down below. And hopefully you learned something today. If not, hopefully you just like the music. But in the meantime, please be so kind as to PLUR, be excellent to one another, and party on.